And on this episode of Live Chi Time, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I've got gorgeous co-presenter friend here with me, Leah. Hey Leah, welcome back to Chi Time.
Oh, hey Clara, thank you so much for having me. So excited also to be joining you on this epic live event.
I know, we're going to talk elements of truth all the way through because we just can't stop, can we really? Look, have you done any live radio before, lovely?
Yes, I have. I've definitely had a show on Voice America a few years back, and it was a lot of fun. So glad to be here on UK Health Radio, though. Love this platform, love what we're standing for, bringing through this elemental and important information.
Absolutely. It was years ago since I did live radio on Express FM down in Portsmouth, UK. But honestly, what a brilliant crew they are there. They really supported me all the way through and really gave me that the bug for radio. It's so different from doing TV and stuff, although now we do have Chi Time TV as well. But I love this. Not completely distracting people. You can listen along while you're doing other things here. So we are so fortunate here. We're going to be chatting about elements of truth. Some of the guests that have come through our shows recently have been really piquing deep curiosity and also triggering other people as well. And so we're going to be looking at this sort of how our society is kind of getting polarized. But I know you and I are both very much about unity consciousness, about, we're all from one place. We have one truth and one love indeed. And how can we get back to that? But I tell you what, Leah. Should we play a track first before we get into a bit of a deep dive?
Yes, absolutely. We should play a track that you are so good at selecting, because that definitely is your wheelhouse.
Oh, sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, because I have a rack that I love to play you all. And this one is an absolute gorgeous beauty of a tune. It's by 𝗲𝗄𝐿 𝗲𝐿. It's called Beautiful World, and it's reminding us just of that. Our world is beautiful. Wow, what a gloriously beautiful world, beautiful track by 𝗲𝗄𝐿 𝗲𝐿. Oh, don't you just love that, Leah?
Yes, everybody drink it in. Drink it in. This is what the world needs more of, is this beauty and transcendence, Clara. So again, I'm so excited to be doing this live show with you, because we met working actually through the background of UK Health Radio and really talking about Chi and energy mastery. And we're both involved in the world of Chi, as I like to call it, energy mastery, coming at it from different angles with each other, but so important is bringing through people's elemental truths. And you're doing this in such a wonderful way right now. I'd love for the audience just to kind of get an idea really of what is elemental Chi? What's that mean?
Well, I mean, elemental Chi, thank you, Leah. So we are here on Chi Time, although we're going to maybe be doing this on your show coming up soon as well. Let's get excited about that.
We are.
But yeah, I love that word elemental, because it pertains to the elements that are around us in nature, in our beautiful world. But it's also relating to that which is fundamental and elemental to you. So to me, elemental truth just is what is. It's what's underneath everything else. It's what underpins everything else. And it is your chi, your natural vitality, your life force, your prana, whatever word you want to call it. It's actually a feeling or a sense of your life force, your energy, your truth. So I've been fascinated by this for many, many years. And I've just launched a new project. It's called Elemental Truth, which actually came up. Oh my goodness, here we go. Because UK Health Radio has got a fantastic sister magazine called Health Triangle Magazine. And we're both writers for that, aren't we? And although I skipped mine this month, whoops. Anyway, last month I wrote a piece and it just came through and it had the elements in it and I just couldn't find a name for it. And then it just went, okay, it's the elements of truth. It is. I think it's what we're all looking for in this day and age. We want to know what the truth is. And there's all this information coming at us from outside. But what's the elemental truth inside of you that helps you decipher what on earth is going on outside. And I know you've got lots to add to that. You're a great researcher and you have fantastic guests on your show as well. And so what does elemental truth mean to you then,
Well,
Leah?
and I think the same. It's like the fundamental truths of what is Mother Nature telling us and what is our internal voice of wisdom telling us. And we're living in such a world right now of disconnection, chaos, confusion, that people really don't have a sense of being grounded at all. I feel very fortunate. I grew up on a farm, so a farm prior to all of the additives being, introduced to our food system, et cetera. So I grew up very much in a natural environment where meditation was not something you learned, but something that you elementally just did. And so it's been a foray into helping people to feel grounded for many, many years in my counseling and coaching practice, because people come and they're full of chaos. And now more so than ever, that I just see through the emails and through the Facebook posts and through Instagram and people reaching out, that they're going, where is there a clear voice? And I love this. Where's the voice of reason in amongst all this? But people look for it externally. And that's a hard position to be put in, but we learn this from a very young age. So let's speak to that a little bit about why are people so confused?
Well, actually, I'd like to backtrack even more, because I think let's start from the beginning. Let's start about this rooting and this grounding, because these are words that we can use.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we actually do it? And you very eloquently just said it. When you're living in nature, you just are it. You don't even have to think about meditation. You're going for your walks. You're in nature. It is a meditation. It is part of you. And you hear time and again that nature is the place to go to. It really is, folks. It really, really is. But this dropping your anchor or feeling your roots is probably the most important key Qigong protocol that runs through everything that we do. To know this wu-qi standing position where you empty out the old and you refresh with the new. The emptying out requires you to grow roots down deep, 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 deep into the earth, through all the layers of the earth, through the qualities, the colors, the water in the earth. It's almost like you feel the earth as you let your roots penetrate down through into her. And it's like the roots are kissing her as well, saying, thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you for supporting us, for everything that you've given us over our lives, for that consistency of support. That's something, that's a truth we can rely on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a locking into that it's not a one-way relationship. Also, that it's very much a two-way relationship, that we are fed and nourished and enlivened and strengthened from drawing our energy from Mother Nature, or even if that's a 2-inch square piece of grass that we can get our big toe on. It doesn't have to be Mother Nature is very powerful. If we can just get a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. The center of the ball of your foot, your bubbling spring. You just need that on the earth. But that's interesting, because you said to draw on Mother Nature. I feel it's like it's a gift. The key into us letting go and keying in that receiving from the earth is actually us surrendering, us letting go of the tensions, the worries, the frustrations, the fears, the anxieties. Our bodies don't want to hang on to this stuff. They actually don't. Yeah, to feel emotions. It's not that we don't want to have them, but we do want to understand how to let them go down out of us. And you're right, when you go out walking in nature, that's going to happen naturally, particularly if you can be barefoot, or if you're by the beach, if you can get your feet in the water there. There's something, all those reflexology points on the bottom of your feet. I love it. I love it. So yes. What do you do apart from, have you got anything else to add to that about how people could sort of ground and connect with the earth truly, madly, deeply?
Yes. One of the ways that I definitely learned as a young girl was in the meadow, to lie on your back, like not in a rain puddle, of course, unless it's a nice warm rain puddle, whatever. Do what you love, but to lay in a meadow at any time of the year, and that you actually become one with and melt into the earth and become that sparkly light as you breathe in whatever the fragrances are. Notice what they are. Right now, what I find is that people are so distracted by their technology that they always bring in their phone with them, which is an interesting thing, right? So they've always got something, earbuds plugged in, and they're not actually tuned into themselves or Mother Nature. They're tuned into another voice, even if that's meditation music. guys. So what I encourage my clients to do is to actually lay down without any technology, just you and Mother Nature, and really breathe in and breathe out, and breathe in and breathe out, and then listen for the sensory things that are happening around you, whether that's birds chirping or the sounds of crickets we have here, or grasshoppers, or all the other litany of the grasses swaying in the wind, how the sun and the clouds work together to bring you warmth, and then to bring you some shade, and then warmth, and then shade, but really to feel yourself melting in, and that you become one with the earth. So you don't actually feel your muscles anymore or your bones. You just kind of disappear into that sparkling, glittering, beautiful, sunny energy field. And then you realize you're actually energetic, not biomechanical, which helps you to access that voice of the energetic system that isn't available when we're just tuned into trying to think our way out of everything, which was what we love to do. Give me one more stat.
This is so true. This multi-dimensional experience that we have as humans is only accessible to us if we're not being distracted, because it's the subtle sensations of the energy body and the connection to your higher self, for want of a better word, or your spiritual awareness, your psychic abilities, the telepathies, the intuition. These are all subtle, and they don't work so well if you're being distracted, and they certainly don't work well if you're around too much electronics. I mean, I don't know about you, but I like to have Sundays off tech. Do you try and do something like that as well?
Yes, I don't sleep with my tech in my bedroom ever, and so that's been an object of discussion for many years now. It's like, how can you not sleep with your phone in your room? I'm like, because I get a better night's sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
And, so many people feel like they're responsible to be at the beck and call of somebody else all the time. And so having good boundaries and managing your neurology so that your brain feels nice and refreshed, and that whole tech thing, it's so important. It does inundate us, so we've had not only our phones, but we've also got this impending, and I call it impending, 5G technology coming in, rolling through the US anyway, for sure. I'm not sure about what the protocols are in the UK, but in the US, there's been absolutely no health testing done at all. And so it's all industry-backed studies. And it's been very, I want to say it's not good. So people need to inform themselves about what is actually coming and how do you protect yourself. It's been shown to kill off just little bugs, in fact, or plants that are growing around where 5G is at, or where these banks of technology are actually at, smart meters. There's things that real natural wildlife does not live around these things. And so it's not us pressing the panic button. It's what Mother Nature's response is to those electronics and to that technology, that we as human beings, just because we're in a bigger body doesn't mean that cellular destruction isn't happening. And somehow we're in the delusion that we're protected because we're in a different skin.
I know, it's because it's happening slowly. It's that whole boiling frog syndrome, isn't it? Have you heard the story of the boiling frogs? Do you know that one?
Yes, no. Intimately, but you should share it.
I maybe should share it. It is a good one. So this is like, if you wanted to, I mean, obviously I would not advocate this. Please don't ever do it. It's just a metaphor. We love frogs. We want them to be in the wild forever. But for instance, this is just an illustrative method here for if you did have a massive pot with cold water in it, and you had some frogs in it on your stove, and you turned on the heat very low. It would take quite a long time for that pot to heat up with the frogs in it. I really don't even like this story telling it now, because I don't like the idea of frogs getting boiled. But anyway, the point is the frogs don't notice that the water is getting warmer and warmer and warmer. Now, if you'd suddenly put them into very hot water, they'd jump out and go, yep, because I've seen frogs do that. But if you do it very gradually, then they don't notice. And that's what's happening with this now. It's so gradual that we're not noticing it. And yet there's stuff coming through. There is scientific stuff coming through that is showing us that from the mid-80s onwards, the cancers have been going up. There's been all sorts of and you can't pinpoint it directly to the tech. And let's face it, we're on tech here. Let's just say we're not tech phobic. We just would like more research going on, more sensible truth coming out, because
And
we practice
And the
safely.
frogs in the pot all boil at a different rate too. So you are the frog in the pot. And
Yeah,
so the
so are you.
important thing is to realize that your boiling pace rate might be slower or faster than somebody else's. And so being sensitive to what's going on around you,
Yes.
often we'll tolerate a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort, like things that never happened before. Like people get nosebleeds and they go, why am I getting nosebleeds all of a sudden when I didn't used to have this? And then they think it's because I'm getting older. No, it's like it could be lots of other things besides that. So you need to understand changes happen at a cellular level in your body. And if you understand, I'm sure almost everybody that listens to our shows has gone through high school biology and took cellular anatomy. And so you can put your little nerdy hat on with me for 5 seconds and you realize that at a cellular level, something in a deconstructive way is happening. Your mitochondria are not functioning as well. If you had a chance to take a little slide of your own little system and stick it under a microscope, all your cells start to look like they're decaying at a much rapider rate. They're not round, juicy, plumpy cells with nice big mitochondria that are going, woohoo, I love being a cell. They are instead looking like the mitochondria and DNA and cellular structure of a 90 or 100-year-old person. So this is why we're seeing biological breakdown and aging, rapid aging, people who have had difficulty with movement, joint pain, headaches, insomnia, and the list goes on. So once you start not being able to sleep, and you stop actually feeling good, then that snowballs into other things. So ask yourself, am I the frog in the pot? Is there something else that's going on around me? How do I protect myself from this stuff? Can I? Is there technology to protect me from the technology? It's a little bit like spy versus spy.
It is. And yet
Still of that.
But what you can do is step away. So the idea of having a whole day away from your tech is actually, it's tricky. Even for me as an energy worker, it's tricky. But it's like, can I even do this? So it's like, how about anyone listening here? Can you step away from your tech for any periods of time and feel okay? Does it kind of make you feel strange that you can't be in touch with people? We're being trained here. Start me on all the programming that's going on. But it is a concern is, what is this word freedom? What does freedom actually mean? Do we know what that means because of what's going on right now, the freedoms that are being curtailed because of the current situation, shall we say? I know, exactly. Leah's got a hand over her mouth. The whole muzzling effect of people. No, I just must say, everybody has different opinions on that. And you know what? That is part of your freedom choice. You're totally free to have your opinions on that. But your opinions that make sense to you are not necessarily the opinions that are going to make sense to somebody else. And we just need to respect that and learn how to work together. And this, I want to see the polarization that's being occurring at the moment and being encouraged coming into unity and tolerance for one another. Now, I don't even know if that is possible, but I certainly know how I feel about the muzzling up that is
by
going on.
The term you use to describe it. Muzzling up. Yes. If anyone wants, it's because, as you alluded to, I'm a researcher, so I do a lot of research, and also because we have a neurological disease in our family, so it matters to me to have really excellent brain health. I have more skin in the game probably than most, so it's not just a theoretical, if I do this, I might have this little effect. It's like if I allow myself to be exposed to things that are not awesome, it can have a devastating effect where I can be, I have relatives that have been, are dead and they're my age. So we won't get into ad nauseum on that, but I am a researcher because of that. And so I encourage people to learn what are good research skills. Like, how can you actually find out for yourself what is going on in the world? Listen to 10 different things. Don't assume that the one thing that your Aunt Martha tells you that she has a hot clue what she's talking about. Even in terms of vaccinations, in our family, we have dissonance about vaccines. Does that mean we're not going to get together for Thanksgiving? No, probably not. But people have to have the open-mindedness to actually explore both sides or all the sides. It's not even two sides because there's just so much really good information that's available, and not just from what's personally happening right now in the field of research, but has happened, in the last 150 years or 200 years or even further back than that. Like, what can we learn from our ancestral roots and our natural heritage of the things that we knew that were just good for us.
Exactly. So it's going back to our roots again, isn't it? That which feels good for us is good for us. That which feels wonky or spiky or sloppy or weird is not good for us. And you're right, there is a spectrum of information. And it honestly is up to each and every one of us to do the research and to have these kind of conscious conversations. And I don't know about you, Leah, here with me on Tea Time Live, just reminding us live, is that, I've just lost my thread by doing that. It's so bad, isn't it? What was I talking about, Leah? Oh, going into nature, yeah, and being with people who had the spectrum of things going on. Oh, I've lost it. Let's get into their feeling. That was it. I know, mental health, what's been happening with our mental health, with all this isolation that is occurring, and those words, social distancing, that I think all of us know are the wrong words. And I know what it was. It was small talk. We'll come back to that in a minute. But small talk, I just don't seem to be able to do small talk with anyone anymore. It's like, back in, I think it was about a year ago, I found that I could talk to anybody in supermarkets or on the street, just get into conversation about the environmental problems with plastic. It was like, yeah, you could talk to anybody about the plastic problem. We're all in it together. It's one of those great levelers. It's like, yeah, how do we do this? And it felt like we were coming together as citizens of the world. And now we've got a load more pollution with all our masks and all of that. But anyway, so to talk about these issues that we're dealing with at the moment, about whether to wear a mask, for instance, or whether to have vaccinations, it's like you can't even talk to anyone. They won't have a discussion. It's like this anger and this like, but I think this, and it's like, how do we get back to going, I want to hear what you've got to say. I'd like to hear what you've got to say, but I might not agree with you all the way, but I'm really interested in that. And I would like that to be reciprocal. So that, I don't think we've got time for small talk anymore, Leah. I think the chips are down, the tits are going up, frankly. And if we don't do something about what we're going through now consciously, then we're going to be the frigging frogs in the pond. Water.
Frogs in the pot. We'll wish we were frogs in the pond. We'll be the frogs in the pot. But you do bring up a great point, Clara, and I think it's more important than ever now to have small talk. And so some of the ways that we're looking at doing this grassroots level, and much to our inhumanity, we agreed to be separate in March, which is, you know, the social construct that's happened around that separateness and agreeing to it. It's the check out Dr. David Martin World, davidmartin.world. And the reason I want you to do that is because he'll show you the research and how to research this for yourself. The whole history of the coronavirus. And again, it's a research project. So he's not saying one way or the other what you ought to believe, but you will definitely be able to do your own research. So just springboarding off of that, we, since March, agreed, put our hand up and said, okay, we're going to stay 6 feet apart from each other. We're going to not see our grandchildren. We're going to not get together for family functions. We're not going to show up for people when they're dying, you know, in the long-term care facilities and all this absolutely loopity-loo stuff. That who agrees to this? Like, it's because we've stopped actually having small talk that this has even been allowed to happen, in my opinion, in our society. In our family, because we still do have small talk, and we've had small talk because I'm sure because of having this neurological disease, because we talk about a lot of things. We talk about death over dinner, like how do people want to die? How do
Can I just say, Leah, this is not small talk. Small talk is talking about things that don't really matter, like what color is your fridge? And what have you got in there? You're talking about proper conversations with people about key matters that need to be spoken about, which absolutely does need to happen. And I wonder what we should call them: big talks or large talks or juicy talks.
Right. But some of it should be still like the potlatch or potluck idea, which potlatch was the term used by Aboriginals here in Canada for when they got together to break bread before Europeans came in and took it away as something that they wouldn't do in their community. It's been hijacked from us in our families by being told that you can't get together for family functions. It's freaking ridiculous. Ooh, I just about said it. It's flipping ridiculous, people. So getting together and having meals together is part of social gathering. And if it's a small talk of even how do we do a family recipe, that has been stolen from this generation of children for the past 7 or 8 months. It's completely, as silly as that sounds, people might go, well, that's kind of pressing, you know, some buttons that shouldn't be pressed, but it isn't. There's people who are not going through the normal learning mode of what they learn from their grandparents, what they learn from their parents, what they learn from their aunt and uncle, because they're not allowed to get together.
That is such a good point. What are we teaching our children? You know, when you've got 3-year-olds that are running up to see friends or members of the family and they're being shown, stop, you're not allowed to do that. What messages is that going into that youngster's mind, you know? And, oh, you can't play with your friends because you might catch, and these are children who have been said that are very unlikely to catch this, you know? And it's like, what are we doing to the mental health of our global community, of the children particularly? What kind of disorders or dismay are we what anxieties are being seeded right now by this? That is a crime against humanity, and there's a few more of those going on. And I know that we've both been listening to what Sacha Sohn's been saying on the World Health Sovereignty Summit, and there's a lot of other really good people that are working on behalf of getting the truth out there. What is the truth behind this? And it's starting to come through, and it's going to roll out, and it's going to shock some people, but it has to happen.
Yes, and it's good because everyone needs to get out of the pot. So the shocking part, you can give yourself a pat on the back and go, oh, thank God I'm not numb anymore, because I actually heard something that was a wisdom that I didn't catch on to at the beginning of March. So even if you've done all the things to socially isolate and all that, and then you start to go, does this make sense? Then you can start to actually open up your mind to thinking about things differently. And people will go, well, I'm too embarrassed to say in front of my friends that I've changed my mind about X, Y, Z, whatever it is. And don't be embarrassed, for heaven's sake. Be proud of yourself that you've developed this appetite for curiosity and that you care enough about your future and the future of the planet that you would just throw off the old belief system, because that's what it is your thinking is been indoctrinated into you since you were a little person, however old you are now. And that's just, you just go, that's the way things are. Well, that's the way things are. And they don't have to be that. That's the way things are.
We have such a choice point for humanity here, don't we? We're here on Tea Time Live on UK Health Radio. Myself, Clara Apollo, and Leaha Mattinson, telling it like it is. And so this programming of the global community, how do we get there? One of our favorite topics is about, you can look and see what's going on outside of us, and it's getting reflected back. But we know in all the work of Dr. 𝗃𝗄 𝗃𝗄 and other neuroscientists that are Greg Braden, and who's that other one? Can see him, that bloke, is where we place our energy, what we think about, what it is we imagine is the most powerful tool that we have. And yet, how many people are we hearing talking about, second spike's going to happen again? It's like it friggin' will if you keep thinking that.
Yeah. Well, the media, we wake up to it here anyway, Clara, for sure. The first thing, if you turn on the TV every morning, is the death count or the number of coronavirus cases. So unless you're not a TV watcher, back to the tech thing, 12 years ago or so ago, when I got my genetic status for Huntington's disease, I went, what's going to make a great brain? Not watching any of that. So I turned off the TV. It's like anything that wasn't, basically things are awesome. I just really, I drove my kids nuts, I'm sure, but wiring yourself to see the world in a positive light is our personal responsibility. Not to be silly about it and not to be, flippant, but not to have the blinders on. Again, we need to feel our emotions, but also so that we don't tolerate things that feel bad. So when you see the death count or the number of people with this unproven virus, how does that make you feel? It's like uncertain for most people.
Yeah, curiosity. I mean, there's information coming out in the UK now that is saying that the COVID numbers of deaths is not correct, and they are looking into what is going on now. Again, the truth, right, is going to come out anyway, because it's the truth, and anything that is not in alignment with nature or the truth is going to get found out. It's just how long is it going to take? How's it going to take to do? And in the meantime, we have an environmental catastrophe that we need to cope with, that I feel is going to bring us all together. as humanity it could do, you know. And so that's why I'm not into despondency and despair like yourself. I'm researching, I'm curious, I'm using sort of meditation. Imagine, in fact, well, I'm going to lead you all through a meditation pretty soon to kind of bring us into that power of our minds. I know that's something that you do a lot, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. We're in control of the construct of our brain, our body, our energy,
Choice.
our choice. And we really are, it's such a beautiful position to be empowered to influence ourselves to good every day, and our little people. When we talk about children, I have such a heart for kids, because I have kids of my own, lots, and then I have 3 beautiful, precious grandchildren that are my absolute light and love. And so it puts it very front and center for me. All these people challenged with homeschooling, all the people who have changed their work environments to try to stay home with their kids, that don't have an understanding of how to find value in themselves if they're not actually performing at work. The mental health toll is not just on adults here. The little ones who are dealing with parents who come home who are disgruntled about their all sudden change of employment, sudden change of status, definitely is a concern when we look at stats worldwide of the number of children and that are being abused, and that is going up, not down. Given this time, that it really is, again, this crossroads where everyone needs to look at themselves in the mirror and go, hang on, how much control do I have here over myself and over my own conduct? Am I just going to be led around, by the nose, by whoever comes up with the next, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, or
that story, yeah.
or am I going to actually, again, going back to the being grounded, am I going to be grounded and rooted? And if I feel like one of my roots is kind of lifting up from the soil, how do I do whatever I need to do to inform myself, instruct myself, get back to being in alignment and being centered and having strength in my argument and my conviction for what is right? How do I do that in my own being and make it my personal responsibility, my personal mission, my personal directive, my personal sovereignty to make this life the very best life that it can be?
Yes. Yeah. And to keep bringing yourself back. When you feel yourself getting pulled off, bring it back in. Pulled off, weirded out, bring it back in. That is the practice, because every time you return to center, to source, to truth, to rooted, grounded, earth and nature and elements, it makes you stronger. Every time you come back in, you recognize yourself a little bit more. Oh my goodness. Is this the kind of topics that you talk about on your show here on UK Health Radio, Master Your Life, Leaha Mattinson?
Absolutely, Clara, Apollo. And I think it's so cool that you bring up this whole, like the present moment of how we run our shows. So Clara and I met on UK Health Radio. We have this great relationship, and this synergistic thing came together of how do we bring better guests to the audience, because we love you guys and we want you to know how much we appreciate each and every one of you sharing your time with us or spending time with us, because we know there's lots of people out there doing good information, probably not as good as ours. Just kidding. But so that said, I've had great shows, great guests on my show, and there's not a lot of fluff in the show, and there has not really ever been a lot of fluff, but there's a lot less fluff than there used to be, even because it's just so important. Every single guest I have, I want them to be delivering the very best information to people that are listening, because it's so critical at this time that people are grounded and make good decisions and go, how do I follow this next breadcrumb? So you had this amazing guest, Sacha Stone. Sacha was just I'd say he's a rock star. He used to be a rock star, right? But brilliant man. But because of his, and you guys will all relate to this, I'm sure. You probably have had people along your lifespan that you've met and gone, man, I just need to know more about what you do. Who do you hang out with? Because the 5 people you hang out most with is who you turn out like. And so that is like, and that evolves through time. So you should change your values. You should change who you're hanging out with. You should want to know more. So you follow these little breadcrumb trails, and then all of a sudden this whole other world of knowing and possibilities opens up to you. And that, I would say, Clara, is what's been going on Master Your Life. Yeah, it's been very cool to bring new information, refreshing research, people being able to be smart for themselves, which is what I
love that. Be smart for yourselves, empower yourself, you trust yourself, and how can people find out more about what you get up to then, Leah?
Well, you can join my private fan club.
All right.
At 𝗕𝗲𝐿 is probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. Plus, I also have my Facebook pages.
Yeah, but how do you spell Leah? Come on.
Oh, yes. Leaha, like Leah, ha, 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 ha. Leah Mattinson, Mattinson.com. And I am a redhead. So if you type in Leah Mattinson images, you'll be able to track me pretty easily, usually on Google, unless they've got us shut down, in which case then it might have to be
can't find out anything.
Telegraph or something.
Brilliant. No, thank you so much. I really hope we get to do this again. It's a total joy speaking with you. But yay! I would like to take us now into more of a meditative space after I've said about what's going to come up next. So we have next week on Chi Time something called Quest Codes for a New Earth, which is a book that I've co-written with other amazing collaborators about bringing through the wisdom for what it is we need moving forward as a collective. So I'm going to talk more about that on next week's show. But I'm going to take us back into this idea that we can create our own reality. And I would like each and every one, because we are recording this live on the new moon. It's the new moon in Cancer, which is to do with the home and that which is very important to our home, and our bodies are our homes. So I'd like each and every one of us now to think about something that we would like to manifest in the world. So ask your heart what it is you would like to bring through you. What is your heart's desire right now? So you could feel it, or you could see it, or maybe there are words coming through. And when you've got it, I want to imagine that in your hand you have a little seed or a nut. And you breathe into your heart, into that connection with your desire. And then you breathe that desire into your seed or nut. You see the words going in, or the colors, or the sense of that you wish to come true. And you now take yourself into a meditation space. You can hold your little nut seed, or you can put it in your pocket, but it is with you. And you just come into the rhythm of your breath, watching the air gliding in and out of your body. And each time you breathe out, feel yourself sinking down a little bit more into the chair, into the floor. And allow your roots to unfurl down, connecting in with Mother Earth deeply. And if you're moving along at the moment, if you're walking or if you're driving, you can do this if you're driving, just don't close your eyes. But know that your root is going to go with you everywhere. Your roots, they can travel with you, unlike the trees that have to stay put. But your root travels with you. And it's long and golden, and it connects with the center of the earth. Breathing in and out in a natural rhythm, grounding yourself, acknowledging and appreciating the abundance of Mother Earth and the support of Mother Earth. And then I'd like you to imagine that you're on a beach. It is the summertime here in the UK. And you imagine that we're on the beach there, on the sand or the stony beach, or a favorite beach of yours. And the sun is out, but it's not too hot. But it's just lighting your way as you pad to the shoreline and you dip your toes in the water and appreciate that connection of the elements of the water and the sea, the water and the earth, the sand and the sea, as they interact with one another in a fractal-like wave way. And you stand there and you can see the horizon. And you breathe with the rhythm of the waves as it comes in and covers your feet. You're breathing in and breathing out, and the water goes back out. And that feeling that you get of the water rushing back in to the sea and around your feet and the pebbles. And you've got your wish with you and your little seed. And know that you are a child of the universe. You're a bright being of light. And you have a very special wish with you that you would like to plant in the earth. And you look around, and behind you, you notice that there's a cave, and you need to pad over to that, over the sand, maybe over a few shells and a bit of slippy seaweed. And on the edge of the cliffs there's a cave entrance that looks really inviting. It looks like it's beckoning you in, going, come in here, come and visit me. And you get to the entrance of the cave, and you breathe that cool air in, and you can just feel that yin quality, that yin presence of being just beckoning you in to come and rest for a while in the womb of Mother Earth, which is how I feel all caves are. And you give thanks as you step over the threshold. And you notice what you see around there. The light is dimmer. The cave walls are all around you. The floor is uneven, or maybe it's smooth. And you feel yourself being drawn to the back of the cave. And there you just let yourself sit in the semi-darkness on the floor of the cave, just being in the womb of the earth, giving thanks for the miracle of your life. And you ask the cave, is it okay if I plant my seed in here? And you wait. And if the answer is yes, you press your hands into the sandy soil, down as deep as they can go. And you bring out your little seed or nut that's full of your wish, and you look at it, and it's like luminescent. You can see it shining with a magical light. That's how precious your wish is, and that's the energy of your wish. And you plop it into the earth. You cover it over. And you give thanks to even be able to do this, of planting something in Mother Earth. It's a symbol to the universe that you have planted something special that's going to be nourished and taken care of by the Great Mother. Just letting yourself sit there in the presence of the cave, in the clarity of being who you truly are, rooted down to the earth, a child of the cosmos, a star being here on planet Earth, incarnated here at this time to make the change you want to see in the world. And know that you are not alone. There are many more like you. And tuning into them around the world, tuning into each and every one of us sitting here, even if you're listening to this on replay, we're creating a circle of hearts, a circle of truth, a circle of love for our planet, of love for humanity, and the wonder that is the miracle of our lives. Whoa. And then in your own time, when you're ready, just turn around and look at the cave entrance and see the shape of that. You can see how the sky has changed color, and it's now coming towards the nighttime, so it's dusky out there. And you get up and you very gently move forwards towards the cave door, the portal, giving thanks to your experience there, knowing that your seed, your nut, is safe. And you step outside to a newly lit night sky with the occasional star, but no moon because it's a new moon right now. But there you are under the starry light, and you notice that each star pings on. Maybe you'd like to make another wish upon a star. For somebody you know needs a special wish right now. Beautiful. And notice how you feel connected to the earth and the stars in your heart. This is the truth of you. This is who you really are. This is who we really are. Taking a deep breath in and letting all those images fade, and bring yourself back to what you're standing or sitting or walking on. And open your eyes to a new perspective of the truth of you to a deeper degree. And thank you all for being part of that. It felt really powerful. Thank you, Leah, for joining in. How was that for you, sweetie?
Always beautiful. I love meditating. Love it. I can't tell you what was in the cave.
No. Okay. Okay. Wow. Well, when we do this work together, we create a synergy, we create an energetic field. And when we do it on our own, it's important, but when we do it together, it's super powerful. So what I've got lined up now for you is a track that is actually from the Time of the Sixth Sun film and docu-series. It's called Humanity's Hope by Charlie Roscoe. So I just want us to stay in this vibe and then listen to this track, and then we'll come back after that and wind it up. Thank you so much. Wow, 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 wow. We can do this, people. That was Humanity's Hope by Charlie Roscoe on the Sonic Transmissions CD from the Time of the Sixth Sun, that incredible docu-series and movie that is just, so full of indigenous wisdom that is touching our hearts because it's full of the truth. Have you seen that yet, Leah?
I have not. I must confess. So that will be on my bucket list of things to watch during this quote unquote lockdown.
Well, what I'm going to do is I will send you the links. At the moment, you can get free access. That's timeofthesixthsunmovie.com, might be movielaunch.com. But if you type in Time of the Sixth Sun, it will get you there. So anyway, it's just been a total thrill doing Tea Time Live with you. Thank you so much for being favorite guest. You're a star.
Yes. Thank you so much for inviting me, Clara, and to share this airtime, and also to UK Health Radio just for allowing us this wonderful platform to bring forward the truth where so many people are actually being shut down. So we just feel very, very blessed and grateful for however we got here. Thank you, divine prime creator and universe.
Absolutely. And thanks so much to Johan on tech. We love you. And if you would like to listen again or tell your friends, this episode is available on playback on UK Health Radio, but also on podcasts on iTunes or Spotify. But remember also, you can watch us on Tea Time TV, because we might even put this video up. That would be fun. And next week on Tea Time, we have the New Earth Codes quest book. And so tune in for that, because that is going to be full of juicy info to take us forward into the new earth. So till next time, you know what to do. Keep your chi up, my friend. And thank you so much for listening to Chi Time with me, Clara Apollo, on your UK Health Radio, the world's #1 talk health radio.